are we even going to get a good Mass Effect now? The reason why I'm asking is because we've just seen from a blog post that came out of Gary McKay of Bioware that the actual division has went from 200 folks to less than 100 after members of Bioware have been basically either let go, sought new pastures, or been put into different divisions. That was meant to be only temporary. That's now actually being confirmed that there are permanent moves outside of the division. This is coming off the back of a massive readjustment to EA's financial forecast for the quarter after Veilguard and FC24 essentially did not hit their projected sales goals. The way that EA have described it is so weird because they've talked about it in the sense of like Dragon Age engaged 1.5 million players in its first 2 months, which is such a weird way of prefacing their sales, essentially saying that they sold 1.5 million copies, which to me, and I imagine to a lot of folks even inside the industry, 1.5 million copies sold inside of 2 months is not a bad number. In fact, reasonably well respectable number. That is actually quite good. But EA had some ridiculous forecast, I guess, that maybe wanted to have double that inside the first 2 months, or maybe even triple that, because of the lofty name that is Dragon Age. But given how rocky the road was on the release to that game, it's one of those things where it's hard to say if we were going to expect it to do better or not, given just a bunch of different parameters. There's been just a vanguard of the gaming community that have just been on this weird whole like borderline sociopathic crusade against anything that's woke, and Dragon Age Veilguard was one of those targets for the longest while. It's one of those ones where, from what I've heard, because I've not played the game myself, and I will give full insight there and visibility. I've not played it. I have bought a copy. I haven't got around to it yet, but I do intend to play it. But from what I've talked to people, it's been kind of a mixed bag, because what people found with that game was that it was like very fun for a lot of the gameplay, and the visuals were fantastic looking, very vibrant, very colorful, very much like away from the almost like grimdark that was Dragon Age for the first few iterations, and into a more colorful, vibrant, and bombastic world. With that, there came what was one of the biggest criticisms, was that the writing was really weird and disjointed, and just at times the way some people talk to me about it is that it almost seems like the writing was done where the writers had a member of HR stand over them when they were writing the scripts and essentially make sure that the actual like grittiness and the sort of vibrancy that is meant to be the sort of feel of the game be vacated to this very sterile, very sort of like safe way of like wording things. This also comes off the back of what we've seen with a lot of things now, that everything is trying to be almost Marvel-esque, where, well, that just happened, and it's a terrible thing that Marvel has kind of done to the world of writing, is that everything has to be a self-referential nod that almost kind of borders on breaking the fourth wall, but doesn't, and comes across as just incredibly lazy and dull writing. So that's been some of the major criticisms I've seen with Veilguard, and some of the things that I'm not looking forward to getting into it. But I've heard that the actual game itself, once you get into it, there's some amazing points where the story really peaks, and the ending is meant to be really damn good. Looking into it further, it seems as well that according to Blue Sky posts on Anne LeMay, everyone who worked on Dragon Age is basically gone from the company now. So essentially the whole writing staff and division have been cut from the whole studio. Which then brings up the next question and next thought process of like, well, what does that mean for the Mass Effect team? Because essentially the Bioware is still creating Mass Effect. They're still meant to be bringing back Mass Effect. It's still meant to be the thing that we're all latching onto and hoping is going to be fantastic. Myself, very much so, because I love the first 3 Mass Effects. Andromeda was a little bit, I don't like Andromeda, but it is one of those ones where we want this to happen and to go well, but it's hard to kind of make a AAA game work when the staffing of the actual division that's meant to deliver that AAA game is under 100 people. I'm not saying it's not possible, but it's going to be damn hard to produce a product of that caliber and quality and size with a limited staff. Which then makes me wonder, are we going to be kind of screwed when it comes to Mass Effect? I mean, the way I look at it is that the actual studio heads have confirmed, as well as Gary McKay saying that the actual Mass Effect team is being helmed by veteran Mass Effect developers from the original trilogy, which is good. That is really good. We want to see people who made those games phenomenal helm and steer us into good, calm waters when it comes to the next Mass Effect. However, how do you make that game? How do you make that game? It's hard to say. And with that game being made when there's only sub 100 people in staff, we're going to need to see some major scaling up from EA to try and replenish some of the actual staff when it comes to Mass Effect. Otherwise, we might get a subpar product that is going to be marred by basically the underperformance, and I say underperformance of Dragon Age Veilguard. At this point, I am kind of worried. I would love to see that game be a triumphant return to old Bioware. I know that's not the case because the folks who originally founded Bioware and all that are gone, and I don't think they're coming back, at least to my knowledge. But it is one of those ones where looking at it on a sort of outside view, it's a bit worrying, and I'm wondering, do we even get a Mass Effect product that is capable of meeting the expectations of us, the gamers, as well as the developers itself, with the gutted staffing levels inside of EA and Bioware? Hard to say. But of course, this is one of those ones where I'm going to be watching this and probably coming back with more news as I can glean from it from time to time and give you updates where I can. Obviously, with this news, I don't want it to be a celebration of staff being displaced to the staff moving on, because it's never great to see developers in any capacity in the industry getting displaced or fired or moved on to different projects they may not have necessarily wanted to, because it sucks. This industry is pretty cutthroat. This industry is marred in tragedy because the amount of studio closures we see, especially from EA. And I don't want to see Bioware close down after Mass Effect either, but the reality is that if this keeps going, to keep doing things like this here, we might lose Bioware, and I'm not happy about that. But obviously, I want to hear what you think. Drop a comment down below. Are you happy to see the staff being exhumed from Bioware and hopefully preserving Mass Effect when it comes to that there? Or do you think that actually Dragon Age was quite good and you think this is kind of a big loss to the actual Bioware team? Let us know down in the comment section down below. If you've enjoyed the video, of course, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, so that way you don't miss out the videos as they go up. On top of that there, we do stream on this channel as well as the Twitch channel simultaneously, so you can always check out the Twitch link in the comment section down below, and that way when we go to play Dragon Age live, you'll be able to hang out with us, give us your opinion, talk about it a little bit more. I'll be back probably again for another video, maybe about this, maybe about something else, but I'll see you hopefully either in the next video or the next live stream. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, folks. Peace.